Hello everyone, Chris Assis here, and today it is our third video on the embrace. So in the previous two videos, we talked about the push, the pressure applied during the lead, and the second video was the pull. So this time we're gonna put them together, but basically our goal is to discover how the push hides within the pull and how the pull hides within the push and how one leads to another. We'll also see how to not isolate the lead or the receiving of the lead from one side. So sometimes I know some teachers teach using only this hand. Other teachers say no, don't only use this side, use that side. Um, you will hear me asking you to explore the different options that you have. But from my experience, it is the two sides communicating, one side giving to the other side, and there's always work. Nothing between the two sides. Nothing is just straightforward. Just push on this side and it's okay. It doesn't work this way, and that's why it is a full body experience to dance, not only tango, but generally every kind of dance. So I would like to encourage you to explore this as much as you can. And you're doing it right when you start to feel that every little part of your body is becoming a part of this movement. It might be a tiny part, but it's still a part of the movement. Enjoy. So let's get started. You pull with one hand and you push with the other, but try not to let go like I'm doing there. So during the push, there is still some activity on the other hand. So it's not that you're actively pulling, but you'll find that almost through instinct, there is activation on the other side. You don't want to completely let go. So let's see it here without any stopping. I start to push, and there is elasticity and activity and support coming from the other side. So I want you to feel how the two sides are communicating, and then take your step. It might take a couple of rounds doing it like I'm doing, like what I'm doing here, exploring that the end of the extension. So you want to find yourself there and then give yourself a final push to go. And then you can go back and forth a couple of times without stopping. So you do exactly the same thing when we are crisscross. So before we had left hand holding the band, left leg was free, and now it is the opposite. So left hand is holding the band and right leg is free going forward. But it is exactly the same thing. It is, though, a little bit more interesting of a relationship, that crisscross relationship, because now I'm pushing with my right hand and my left leg is free. And I want you to pay attention to the hips and the shoulders and how they're moving in relation to each other. So now we're connecting the dots. We're trying to build this relationship between the two sides of the body, the upper and the lower body, and the upper and the lower body at the same time. And again, repeat a couple times, taking a pause while you're extending, and then go without the pause. Okay, so let's zoom in, and I want you to notice this. When I press with my left hand, there's an opening in the left hip and a closing in the left shoulder. So the two, see how they work slightly opposite. It's not, I'm even exaggerating and we've zoomed in, so it's not that obvious, but you can see it, right? I hope at least that you can see it. Try though to feel it in your own body. Try to spot it here. I try to make it as obvious as possible, but try mostly to feel it in your own body and feel it also as you're going forward, because it's the same twist. in quotes. So when you're moving forward, you have your right hand is pulling you forward through the band. It is the same twist that's happening. Now, if we go in a crisscross action, and that means that we are pushing, say, back with our left hand and stepping back with our right leg, then things are a little bit different there. And that is because we are pushing on the side that we are standing. We've established ourselves over the left and we're pressing back. So the forces and the energy goes down a different kind of path. It is still, though, it travels downwards and travels across, similarly to what was happening before. But you might be feeling a different kind of twist. So twist is still there, but you might be feeling it a little bit differently in this case. So we're going to be using both bands, and I'm exaggerating here, it's not this obvious, but look what happens. Press from one side or pull from one side and then pull the other. Slight time, seconds difference. Press and press, as if one push travels across the body into the other push, or one pull travels across the body into the other pull. So if you see my body, it goes boom, boom, and then straight back. Let's see. So one shoulder, you'll see one shoulder is coming a little forward than the other, and then the other one is catching up. That's what I'm hinting at. I want you to make that distinction as obvious as possible. And here I'm just changing legs, but make that distinction between one arm and the other as obvious and exaggerated as possible when you're practicing. So, and bearing in mind that that's not how you dance, but the more exaggerated the motion is in your practice, the more you will feel it more in your dancing when it's going to be really, really subtle. So let's see what's happening here. Here, okay, let's give me some time. There we go. So here I'm working the crisscross. Left leg is free, and the right hand will start first, and the left hand will follow. So let's see it. Boom, boom. So if you look at the hands, you'll see the time difference. And same goes when I reach the bar. So again, bum, bum, and now right hand will push first, and then the left hand will give the final push. And I'm just changing legs. So look at my hands, look at my shoulders, look at how look at my hips. So make your way down, and then look at the big picture as you're seeing this video. I want you to see how the energy transfers across and downward, and then upward and again across to find your balance again over the new axis. It's a very interesting feeling, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So this leads us straight into forward ochos, because look at what happens here. If I only pull or if I only push, how aggressive this is, how stiff compared to this, where the two are working together. And if I had two bands, maybe it would have been easier, but I didn't. So try to connect the push, the pull, and the passing of the leg. So that's why aside from leading and following walks, this will help your ochos immensely if you manage to connect across and upward and downward. All the dots of all the movement that are happening. If you find the movement chain and you follow it through, then the outcome is a lot smoother, in control ochos without any tension. So you step as the free leg comes in. You want to give yourself a little bit of a push and a little bit of a pull. But these things need to be smoothly coordinated, almost like a choreography of details. Notice also that I am not um, getting stuck in one position. I am allowing uh, changes to happen as the lead comes in. You can see that I'm allowing for that leg to swing through. I'm allowing for the hips to start turning. My body is going first. You can see that there is more rotation in the upper body compared to the lower body. So that means that my imaginary partner would have been quite satisfied with the result, and I'm getting to where I need to get. So this is something to think about. Maybe getting away from um, square shapes, square geometries when you have a body that moves front, back, across, up, down, circular, right? In waves, right? So maybe we need to embrace more of, wavy, slightly chaotic, but easier to explore, open to exploration type of movement. So same thing happens here in the back ochos. And again, as the free leg comes in, you want to push and you want to pull at the same time and allow for one movement to help the other, feeling that your body is working together, each part of your body is working with every other part to make this movement happen. So also notice that there is not too much when there is collaboration. There's no need for too much effort or too much work happening on one spot. I don't need to pull too much. I am pulling a little bit, but not too much. And I don't need to push too much. And I don't need to squeeze my heels together. I don't need to engage my abs any more than I would do walking down the street. So try to notice these things, because these are all things that we think we need to do, and they might actually be helpful when we're holding a position, but they're not actually helpful if we are moving through a position. So there is push in the pull and pull in the push. There's hold in movement and movement in a hold, in a pause. We just need to find how it all connects.